Yeah, that was a play that we have been repping all season.
In Week 3, the Seahawks took care of business with a win over the Miami Dolphins. It was a dominant performance from the Seahawks, but my favorite play was the massive touchdown to DK Metcalf, and that's what we're breaking down today. In his press conference, Gino talked a lot about what he saw schematically on that play. So we're going to look at the tape, break down the interview, and discuss what this means for the offense. The Seahawks begin in a balanced 2x2 formation with DK aligned to the bottom of our screen. The goal here is simple: Grubb wants to take a shot. This is right after Gino threw a pick, and Ryan Grubb wants to strike back immediately with a massive play. So let's see how he designed this. Let's go back to the interview.
They're playing the low quarters on that side. They play half to the other side.
All right, let's break that down. A lot of people would chart this as cover 6 from the Dolphins. Cover 6 is also known as quarter, half, and it is simply running cover 2 to one side and cover 4 to the other side. If you want to call this cover 6, you're sort of right, but I want to make a distinction. When Gino says quarters, he doesn't mean cover 4. It depends on who you ask, but to me, quarters and cover 4 are distinct coverages. Cover 4 is a zone coverage with 3 underneath players and 4 deep defenders. That is where the 4 comes from. But the Dolphins here are running quarters, which isn't technically zone coverage at all. Quarters is also known as palms, 7 clamp, 2 read. You gotta love football terminology, but whatever you call it, this is a very popular coverage. Quarters is not zone, but it is a man match coverage or a pattern matching coverage. In quarters, everyone is reading the number 2 receiver. Receivers are numbered from the outside in most systems, so here the number 2 is JSN. If he breaks inside, he will be covered by this linebacker who has inside leverage. If he breaks outside, the corner will come down to guard him. Finally, if he goes vertical, then he will be the responsibility of the safety. Those are the rules, and they are the reason why this play works. As DK begins his route, watch Jalen Ramsey. His eyes are locked on the number 2, and once JSN begins breaking towards the outside, his coverage rules dictate that he must come down to guard JSN. This leaves DK with a one-on-one on the safety, and let me tell you, that is not a fair fight. The specific rules that brought Ramsey down is what made this play happen. If the Dolphins were in cover 4 or more of a true zone look, then the corner and the safety would be running with this route, as it is in their zones. As much as I believe in DK, this would not be a great look for Gino to take a shot, because DK would be double covered. But once Gino realized that it was quarters and that Ramsey was taken completely out of this play, he knew he had the look that he wanted. DK fakes like he's running a dig route, but let's go back to see what Gino has to say about that.
Give DK the option to read that right there.
Okay, so what is DK reading? Well, for some reason, the Hawks still haven't sent me their playbooks, but if I had to guess, I would say that he's reading the depth of this safety. This is a very common read in the NFL, or really all levels of football, as if you can get on the same page with your receiver, you can use one route to attack almost any coverage. If the safety was deep, say in cover 2 or cover 3, where he could take away the deep ball, then DK would run a dig route right underneath him. We have seen this time and time again where DK runs a dig route in front of the safety and makes a tough catch. But if he can get over the top, like he can right here because of the quarters coverage, then DK will keep going. As Gino puts it,
that safety's going to be in the quarters coverage. He's going to be more aggressive to any in cuts or any underneath routes. He really bit down on the dig route, and then DK was able to get behind him.
And get behind him he did. DK turned on the Jets, got the pass from Gino, and was able to take this all the way to the house. At UW, the Huskies were known for their vertical offense, and I was admittedly skeptical that Ryan Grubb would be able to translate his deep shot mentality to the NFL level. College football is very different, and particularly with the caliber of wide receivers that he had at UW, it is no wonder why Michael Penix was uncorking a deep ball almost every other play. And while yes, the rate of deep targets has absolutely fallen when you compare the 2024 Seahawks to the 2023 Huskies, The philosophy, the underlying core identity of Grubb's offenses is still there. Grubb has done a fantastic job of finding creative ways to utilize DK as the great deep threat that he is. The ability to make these types of game-changing plays cannot be overstated. These are the types of plays that force defenses to guard you differently. If I was playing the Seahawks next week, I would really not feel comfortable running quarters to DK's side because of this exact play. No, this offense isn't perfect. The offensive line has still been really kind of terrible, and too many drives have just stalled out. But it does feel right. I don't know how to quantify that on a graph or in a statistic, but this offense feels like it suits the players that are in it. JSN has taken steps forward and feels like he's being better used as a slot and an overall weapon. DK is being better highlighted with his deep threat ability, and I feel like K9 and Sharp are finally comfortable in this running game. Maybe the stat that best quantifies this offense is the simplest one. The Seahawks are 3-0.